Fritz could not sleep that night. From his window, he saw a group of former soldiers gathered on the street. One of them strummed a guitar and they began to sing old patriotic songs, but their voices were thick with bitterness. To Fritz, it seemed they were not singing but weeping. Time passed. In Fritz's school, new maps were hung, maps showing Germany's diminished territory. One day, the teacher made the class write Article 231 of the treaty, acceptance of war guilt. Fritz wrote that passage many times, but a question lingered in his mind. Who had truly started the war? His father said everyone was at fault, so why was the punishment heaped solely upon them? One day, his little sister, Greta, fell ill. The doctor said it was malnutrition and a lack of medicine. Helene looked at the expensive prescriptions from French pharmaceutical companies and gave up in despair. That night, Fritz saw his father sitting in the kitchen, head in his hand. Father whispered, "Our mark is becoming worthless. Yesterday, a loaf of bread cost 100,000 marks. Today, it's 200,000. My wages stay the same." Understood inflation. He had heard the word for the first time, but its meaning he grasped through his own empty stomach. On his 10th birthday, Fritz received no gift. His mother gave him an old postage stamp bearing the image of Kaiser Wilhelm. "This is a relic of the old Germany, my son, when our nation stood with pride." Fritz placed the stamp beside the matchbox in his cupboard. Gradually, a strange restlessness spread through the streets. People spoke less, but their eyes said a great deal. Some said, "This peace is too harsh. It will not last." Others said, "We must rise again, whatever the cost." Once Fritz asked his father, "Papa, will these harsh terms last forever?" Father put a hand on his head. "Son, when people are hungry and their honor is crushed, they either break completely or they nurture a passion that can set the whole world ablaze. I'm afraid these terms are sowing the seeds of a new war." That night Fritz fell asleep, but in his dreams he saw the great doors of the Palace of Versailles, inscribed with 3 words: humiliation, poverty, revenge. He tried to open them, but they were bound with chains, and on each link was carved the name of a nation: France, England, America. When he woke, his mother stood before him with a small piece of bread. "Eat, son. Today we got a little extra." Broke the bread, set aside a portion for his sick little sister, and ate the rest in silence. He looked out the window. Snow was falling, and in the distance he heard a newspaper vendor's cry: protests against the Treaty of Versailles. Unemployment rises. That day Fritz understood that harsh terms were not merely clauses on paper. They were the story of bread rations, of sick sisters, of shattered dreams, and of schoolteachers selling matches on street corners. He understood that war is fought not only on battlefields, but also at peace conference tables, and its price is paid in the hunger of children. That day, he made a silent promise to himself. When he grew up, he would help build a world where no child of a defeated nation would have to learn what harsh terms meant. But alongside that promise, his father's words echoed in his heart. These terms are sowing the seeds of a new war. Fritz did not know that before his vow could be fulfilled, the world would have to burn once more, and that he himself would one day stand in that fire. But this story does not end here, for the story had only begun on that December evening when a 10-year-old boy, holding an old German stamp and a box of matches, searched for his future in the frozen mist of his own breath. And history bears witness. The harsh terms of Versailles were indeed too harsh. They did not merely humiliate a nation. They pushed all of humanity toward another bloody war. This story is that warning, the same warning that echoed through a Berlin street on that wintry evening, and still echoes wherever the arrogance of victory forces the defeated to bow to the ground.